Thank you for joining me today. It's good to see you. Today I want to discuss one more topic for the year. It's quite important and shows that we are moving in the right direction here. This topic is that woke people are admitting games that are made for them are actually terrible and that they don't actually like the media that is being made for the woke audience. So let's be very clear about the modern definition of the word woke. In the past, it simply meant politically correct. It was innocuous. There was nothing wrong with it. But what that word actually means now is very different. The meaning has changed, and it is very clear what it is now. The word woke now means a cult that aims to push policies of identity supremacy, to claim people are either superior or inferior to others based on their gender, skin color, politics, and sexual identity. The woke is a cult that actively and openly sets out to tear down and destroy the lives of people who do not echo their manifesto. They use marginalized people, like people who are not straight or who are not white, as human shields so they can deflect criticism, and then they brainwash those people so that they throw themselves in front of the critics, so they take all the blame, and they do this by making people feel like they belong somewhere. The woke cult is able to control people by making them feel like they belong, which is very typical of cult behavior. Woke has absolutely nothing to do with tolerance or acceptance. It has nothing to do with diversity or inclusion. It is entirely about power, control, and superiority. And it is very clear to see the evidence of that by looking at any of their activities online. So, to get to the topic on hand, the editor of PC Gamer has published an article to declare his dislike of the woke game Dragon Age the Veilguard. And again, woke does not mean politically correct or inclusive. It does not mean, oh, we have a female lead, oh, we have characters who are not straight. That is not what woke means, not anymore. Dragon Age the Veilguard is now being criticized by PC Gamer when previously they were praising the game and giving positive reviews when the game launched. We'll quickly have a look here on their website. You can see they gave the game a 79, which is a pretty decent score. That is not a negative score. They said positive things. They have a pretty positive overall review here, but you can also see that there are so many advertisements on their site. And in order for a business like PC Gamer to make money, they have to run ads. And if people do not click on their articles, no one views the ads and they do not generate revenue. And you can see the vast majority of content on their webpage when you open an article is ads that spawn infinitely. This is a trick that is employed by media outlets in order to maximize their revenue, but these impressions of these ads do not generate any revenue if people do not click on their content, and they are starting to understand people are not clicking on this stuff because people, the vast majority of people, know that this is all just a bunch of lies. Outlets like PC Gamer are now losing relevance and losing credibility because people are not clicking on their articles due to these outlets praising games that are very obviously not very good. So I'll put the link in the description to both of these, and you can give them some ad revenue if you want while you read their articles. So, why did journalists give Dragon Age the Veilguard high review scores, and why did they lie about how game the good was? If journalists say anything that is not overwhelmingly positive, then developers and publishers will blacklist them, and they will no longer give those journalists free review copies of the games. That is it. We saw around the launch of the game, many people were not receiving review copies. People who normally do receive review copies, who are in the industry, who regularly review games, who regularly review these sorts of games, they were reporting and showing evidence that they were being rejected from review copies because they were not repeating the woke cult manifesto. They were not being overwhelmingly positive about the game, and so they were blacklisted. And that is why journalists are overly positive. They want to receive free copies of these games. They don't want to be blacklisted in the industry. So why did Dragon Age the Veilguard turn out to be such a low-quality product that is not fit for purpose? Development studios have been hiring based on gender, political alignment, and sexual identity, and also skin color. We have evidence of tutoring programs that also lean into this unfortunate strategy. We have had art directors from studios producing games like Avowed that have been bragging about that behavior, so that's not going to be great for them. So, gender, political alignment, skin color, sexual identity, those are aspects that do not contribute to an appropriate staff member for game development. Studios like BioWare have been excluding from their staff people who are naturally talented and have spent years developing their skills. People who spend time out in the real world, who actually go outside, they learn how to be good people because they communicate with other people and they have to learn how to listen to people in the real world. People who spend time in the real world tend to become psychologically suitable for a workplace. Studios like Ubisoft and BioWare have been building their development teams entirely by people who sit at home on Twitter, feeding into the echo chamber of a cult that sets out to destroy anyone who has any kind of different views and thoughts from their cult. These people are not psychologically stable. These people are not suitable for a workplace like a game development studio. So hiring activists instead of game developers and listening to scam artists who call themselves diversity consultants is why games like Concord, Unknown Nine Awakening, and Dragon Age the Veilguard turned out so poorly. Now more and more people like Fraser Brown from PC Gamer are admitting that they actually dislike Dragon Age the Veilguard and they no longer want any more products from BioWare. This means that people who were supporting woke media, again, the cult of identity supremacy, those people that were previously sucked in by that cult are now saying, wait, I don't actually like this. This is not actually a good product. These games are actually bad. And there are more and more people who now want to leave the cult. So what does this mean exactly? This means that if game studios continue to hire activists to manufacture niche content for a cult that is losing members every day, then that game studio will lose more and more money. There is no way for game studios who hire talentless activists to find any financial success anymore. Gamers now see through this scam that has been set up by multi-million-dollar companies who are looking for an easy way to make money. But it's not going to work anymore because all we have to do is say no thank you and we win. So thank you very much for watching and defending the games industry with me this year. Please watch my end of the year speech as we look forward to seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Happy New Year. Please take care of yourself and be well.